So good morning, everyone. My name is Kyle. I'm a solutions engineer from Silent Push, and today we'll be really just going through briefly on what do we do, how to use our platform to find really hidden threats, and if time permits, we'll have a quick hands-on workshop. And then after that, the last of the I'll say maybe like 5 to 10 minutes, we can actually leave it for questions for any of us to ask, and then that will call it a day there and then. So if I can just really just kickstart the workshop today, so what do we really do? So Silent Push, what we have actually observed is that we are actually seeing that most of the CTI vendors out there, or traditional CTI vendors out there, they are actually just providing IOCs, and IOCs is not say that they're really useful, but IOCs really happen when only an incident takes place or even an attack takes place. So meaning to say, as long as there are no victims or there are no attacks, you don't really have IOCs as per se, and that actually really will cause an issue whereby you are essentially just waiting really for attacks to happen. And on top of that, we also really observe that you can see that trackers or even signature-based systems, they're always trying to really just be on top of the game. They're really trying to wait for attacks to happen and really just playing the catch-up game. So when they catch up to this particular tracker, this IOC, um, what is happening at the background, we don't really know. So what we are trying to really show and really do is that IOCs essentially they are like the 2% of the attacker infrastructure that we know, or rather most of what the CTI vendors out there will know. So as we mentioned earlier on, 2% or rather the IOCs are actually what we see after an attack has happened. But really that's just really the tip of the iceberg. And what is really at the bottom is all the hidden and missed by all the traditional CTF vendors out there that we see, whereby we are actually really looking out for all this hidden attacker infrastructure that is really waiting to be used for a future attack. So they could really just be creating the infrastructure. They're trying to maybe make their plans ready before they really weaponize the infrastructure to really launch an attack, or even in some cases like phishing sites or whatnot. So what Silent Push is trying to do is that we are trying to really shift it from being the typical reactive mindset whereby you're really waiting for IOCs to happen, you just block the IOCs, to really change it to really more preemptive intelligence. So what Silent Push does occur is that we have these things called indicators of future attack. So indicators of future attack, they are really different from the traditional IOCs whereby it's related to an attack or incident. And our indicators of future attack are really based on fingerprinting or hashes that we have observed based on, I would say, certain attacks on certain sites. And then from there, we really try to really find out what are the indicators of future attacks that are there that is not really being weaponized yet. So how do we really do all these things? We really base it on three different vectors right now. So it's really the relationship in DNS, the infrastructure changes, and then of course the content changes. So again, just now what we mentioned earlier on is that the attackers' infrastructure are actually more or less like hidden in that sense, or even or rather unknown. So from there, what we do is we actually monitor the traffic, or rather we monitor the relationship in the DNS traffic. And then from there, we actually try to see what are the changes or what are the infrastructure changes that we have seen. And in some cases, we can really see that they are really creating more, I would say more sites, more domains, or rather really just making all these different changes that we have seen. And then last but not least, before they weaponize the, I would say the different infrastructure that we have, we are able to see the content changes in that sense. So from there, you can really see that just now we mentioned that IOCs are really from the traditional mindset, whereby it is really when once an content changes, they have weaponized it, it becomes an IOC. But what we are trying to do is we are going all the way back to IOFA in the first figure, whereby we are really looking for all these different DNS traffics that really allows you to have all these possible detections before they are even able to weaponize their infrastructure as well. So from there, once they really start having all these different, I would say maybe sites or infrastructure, they start to do all this build up in the activity whereby they change the header server, they change maybe in some cases the IP addresses, the C names and so on. And then after that, from there, once they are ready to really weaponize it, they do the content changes. So that is really how we see the detection right now, whereby we can be at the very start of the detection and really monitoring all the way they are making all the changes to the content changes as well. So how do we really do all these things? I would say again, just how we mentioned like DNS, registry DNS, content changes, and so on. But essentially, what we are doing is that we are really collecting information out there, such as IP scan, host scan, zone files, PADNS, and so on. And and once we collect all this, I would say web data or DNS data, we actually do certain analysis from that. We are able to show the change of detection in maybe in their DNS data, the infrastructure, the frequency of how do they change it. We're able to map certain attribution or even most of the attribution if we have the certain fingerprinting or hashes from there. And then last but not least, from there, once we have all these different information, that is essentially what you're seeing is the platform whereby you can really search on the average context of IP addresses or domains or even URLs. We are able to see certain patterning and so with that is really how we really do our detection, how we do our analysis, and later on once we move forward to the demo, I'm pretty sure it will be even easier for really everyone to see how does it really work for that. So let me change my screen. Meanwhile, are there any questions from anyone? Good. Okay, then let me show my screen. So over here, you can really see this is how our platform looks like. And before I really jump into the demo, what I really wanted to go through is that just now, earlier on, we were really talking about just IOFAs. So what is really these indicators of future attacks? So indicators of future attacks is, in some sense, it's going to be similar to, I would say, IOCs, just that again, it's going to be a preemptive intelligence of indicators that we are very confident that they are really out there in the wild and they are ready to be weaponized anytime and just that they're not IOCs yet. So when you come over to our platform, you will see there will be this trend intelligence management that we have essentially the TRP Amber reports, IOFA feeds, off feeds, and so on. So when I go over to IOFA feeds, you will be able to see these are all these different, I would say, IOFA feeds that we already have. So you can see we have like using thread, we have the domains, we have the IP addresses, we have info-stealer domains, and so on. So from here, I would say, as a customer using the Silent Push platform, you are able to really make use of all these different indicators that you are seeing, and you're able to really just maybe pump it into your SIEM, your XOR, and really just do all this blocking before all these different indicators are going to be weaponized as well. So really just let me just go through very quickly is that if let's say today, right now, I just really wanted to see like what Kimsuki, the North Korean APT domains or even IP addresses does Silent Push have. So when I really do a quick search, you can see that at this moment I have like 230 indicators. And when I click on the view button, you can see that we will actually show you a page whereby how many indicators do we have at this moment, when was it last updated, how was the feed trend really looking like was it really being added in one at a time or really like there was a surge or anything like that. So when you really just scroll down quickly, you can see we do have like top level domains based on the different indicators that we have. We do have all these different ASNs that we have observed based on the indicators that we have again. And it's really just giving you a top level overview of all these different information that we have based on all these different, I would say, indicators. So when I scroll up again, you can see we have this like view reports button over here. So when I click on the view reports, I will be brought over to all these different reports that Push does have based on Kinsuki at this moment. So when I just really click on the read more button, you'll be brought over to this page or this report of the Kimsuki report that our research analysts have done. And I would say that unlike any other normal CTI vendor out there that really does all these different reports, what we are really doing differently is that we not only give you the typical executive summary, what are the TTPs or MITRE techniques being tagged to it, but what I really do like is that we are actually able to be transparent. We are able to show you how do we really do all this research methodology or even this report or even the IOFA feeds. So when I really just scroll down very quickly, you can see that we do have this research methodology that we explain to you on what do we really do or what really enable us to really find all these different fingerprinting or hashes. So when I scroll down a little bit more, you can see that we are really telling you that it was really based on this particular one domain or this one screenshot that we have seen. And that actually prompted our research analysts to really start doing the I would say the research, the pivoting, the investigation on our platform. And what is even better that we also give you the different queries that our research analysts have done or even used during the report research period to really give you out all these different indicators that we have observed. So in short, it's really what we are seeing is what you will be able to see also with our platform. So from there, we don't really like hide on how do we do all this research. We are able to really share with you how we do all this research and really give you out all these different queries that appears to be the indicators of future attack that we have seen as well. So with that, I would say the report is pretty long, but what I can really do is once I scroll up again, once I can just really click on another feed, you can see that these are the indicators that we have at this particular moment. And and what you can really also see is that among all these different indicators, you're able to click on this expand button on the right over here that allows you to really know what are all these different information that we have based on the particular domain in this case. So you can see we are actually seeing that the indicator is etext.kr. It is an indicator, what is the indicator hash? We are it's also really able to give you more information about the particular domain in that sense. And I would say that all these different blue buttons over here are actually really allowing you to be able to click around, to really jump around our platform, to really see on all this different information as well. So with that, I would say that that would be really just a very quick demo on the IOFA feeds and also, of course, the TRP Amber reports. So we do, I would say, in short, we do really do write reports every now and then. The latest one is really a Fin6 report that our research analysts have written. And again, it will really be showing you all these different, I would say, research methodology or even indicators of how we have done all these different reports or even IOFA feeds. So with that, let me really jump over to our platform real quick again. And this time around is really, I would say, is really in the lens of a SOC analyst, whereby assuming today you are using our platform as a SOC analyst and how you can really use our platform to really find for more hidden threats or infrastructure that we have always been really talking about earlier on as well. So for today's context, let me really just start off with like, let's say there's this domain that was actually being sent over to you by your so maybe your boss or your manager, that apparently there's this article that was saying about this fake Zoom scam that was really happening then by this I would say research article that they were saying that there was a link called openfort.businessmeet.xyz that was actually impersonating as a Zoom link as well. So from there, what we can really do is that once you have really, I would say, understood the story, you can see all these different, I would say, links or sites. What you can do is once you come over to our platform, you can really just key in the URL. So for this case, because I extracted the URL from the website, it is going to be open for the business with the XYZ. So from here, you can really just click on total view. You can do a passive aggressive DNS lookup. You can even do a live scan to see at this particular juncture, how does the site actually looks like. So when I click on total view, over here, very quickly, you can see that we are able to really bring you over to our platform, whereby we are showing you like what are the different, I would say, A records, C names, who is information that we've seen about this particular domain. But most importantly, for this particular use case or this example, we are able to really see that, okay, it is really showing us as a Zoom meeting. I can see the favicon, it does look like a Zoom icon, and what was the header server and so on. But because for this case, we were saying that the Zoom icon is actually, or rather this site is a fake site personating a Zoom meeting. So essentially what we are seeing, all these things here are actually going to be fake as well. So what I can really do is that from here you can see we show you like what is the IP address that is actually resolving to the domain or the URL. But at the same time, I'm also able really to really come over to this web scanner tab over here, whereby you can see from here we are actually able to give you more information on how this domain or this web page looks like. So from here I can see again the IP address, when was it scanned, the HTML title, I would say the fuzzy hash of the content of this particular site, the favicon icon, the servers, and so on. But if I were to really just click on expand, you can see that again from here we are actually really able to give more information that is able to really show you how you can really pivot from all this information that you want to see as well. So I can get like very simply a SHA-256 hash of the body analysis. I can get a data hash. I can get even the hashes of the favicon and so on. But for this case, what I really wanted to do is that because I want to just find out about, let's say maybe other sites that are impersonating this particular fake favicon icon. So what I can do is that I can really just click on this hash over here, and I can choose equals. So once I choose this equals, you will be really able to see that from here, I'm actually really able to identify there are really out there many different, I would say, URLs or even domains that you can see the HTML title does have Zoom meeting. They have the same, I would say, malicious favicon as well. And you can see all these different sites out there that is really impersonating how the Zoom meeting or maybe even Zoom site is going to be like. And all these are potentially, I would say, the same cluster of, I would say, Zoom meetings or even phishing sites that are trying to get maybe um, anyone to really just click on all this, assuming that they were really clicking on a Zoom. So from here, you can see again, I can really find out there's really way a lot more different URLs or even domains out there that has different IP addresses. They have different Zoom meetings, HTML title, and so on. But that is really just one of the ways that I'm able to really just pivot from just the favicon hash itself. But at the same time, again, once I come back to just now the earlier on one, you can see instead of really using the icon hash, I can also really use a fuzzy hash of the SSD HTML body, or I can even use a HTML title as well. So end of the day, as an analyst, you really just want to find out more information on how you can really pivot around certain information to help you identify even more information before it really attacks. So just very quickly again, if I can just show the team again, is I can just click on the SSD hash, I can click on the equal, and you can see again, it's going to roughly show you about the same. But again, you can see all this time out is really all the same HTML body as div hash. And again, the HTML title does show us that it's a Zoom meeting and so on. So this again is really just to show you how you are able to identify all these different sites out there that are really just pivoting off the same content or really pivoting off the same favicon or even HTML title and so on. So this really allows you to really find out on all these different information that you want, that allows you to, end of the day, really just be able to find out the indicators of future attack or really just the hidden infrastructure that certain actors will have as well. So let me see. Yes, Anthony, I actually asked Nika, there was no question. So if I can just carry on to the next demo. Um, Okay, so let me just show really another quick example again. Is that on top of us really just pivoting around the web scanner data or information, we are also able to really do a very quick passive aggressive DNS reverse lookup. So really just on top of just pivoting all these different hashes that you're seeing, what you can also do is that once I come over to the page here again, I can really just do a very quick I would say I just want to do a PADNS. So when I do this PADNS reverse lookup, this again essentially is able to really show us all these different sites out there. But in this case, it's not really finding similar sites, but it's really just finding out based on that one particular IP address, how many different sites was it really resolving to. So for this case, you can see one particular IP was actually resolving to a lot of different, I'll say, sites out there that really looks like a Zoom article or even a Zoom website that was able to really show you how they are really, this infrastructure out there is really trying to really mimic or even imitate Zoom, I would say, addresses as well. So that is really another way how an analyst can really just use our platform to really just do all this pivoting investigation to really help you find out on all this hidden infrastructure or rather all this unknown infrastructure that we really have based on all these different again the domains or indicators that you're receiving as well. So I do have about 8 minutes left for the I would say the workshop. Can I just really do a very quick check? Are there any questions that the team right here might have that we can really go through before I really just I would say maybe show one last demo and then we can so-called end the day. Any questions so far? If you are shy to speak, you can really just do the chat. So if there are no questions, let me just really just go through the one last demo that I have today. So it would really be more or less, I would say it's going to look like the so in short, what I'm trying to do is that for this, I don't know if the audience here is actually familiar with Prolific Puma, whereby they are really a tractor that are known to shorten their URL services, and then that actually cause you to be malicious as well. So again, assuming today I'm an analyst, I actually received this particular link from one of my SOC managers that tell me to help me investigate and help me find more information that I can about this particular domain. So when I do again the total view, you can see that we in this case this time around we are able to tell you that this particular domain is part of our IOFA feed, the who is information as usual. But then over here, what we can really show you again is that you can see so this there will be this screenshot that actually shows you about the shortening service as we mentioned about the prolific Puma tractor as well. So from here, how we can really do all this pivoting is that, again, I just want to come over to like a web scanner. At this moment, I can really just really do a expand. And then from here, I can really just choose all these different hashes that I'm seeing based on the content that I receive, and really just help me to be able to identify or even find more information that is linked to, in a way, prolific Puma or anything like that. But for this case, really just let me go through very quickly. Is that if I go up here, if I just choose one of the hashes that I see, I click on the equal button and you're able to see that over here, I can actually see all these different websites that really looks very different from what we have seen previously, whereby it was A4, am4tx.com. Even the IP addresses all does looks to be really different IP addresses that is resolving to really many different, I would say, URLs out there or even domains. But if I can really just click on one of all these different domains that I'm seeing, and I do a quick live scan, um, we should be able to really see how the site looks like at this point in time. And naturally, while it loads, I can also really do a web scanner. I can do a feed scanner again, or even save to all these different feeds that we have as well. But once I come back here, you can see that any of the sites that I've chosen actually does look exactly the same as how we saw previously in the previous, I'll say the A4 and AM4TX domain as well. So from here, we are very confident to say that based on all these different hashes that you're seeing or even you're pivoting around, it really will be able to really show you about all these different information that essentially is really running on the same content, same hashes, same information, just that they're really being hosted on different IP addresses, they're maybe being resolved by different CNAMEs and so, um, with that, I would say that it's really going to be what we are really going to show today. And of course, if any of the, I would say, if anyone here has any really questions, I'll just keep the remaining 4 minutes to answer any questions that we have. Um, but yeah, so leaving the room open to anyone here that is really wanted to really know a little bit more or really any questions that you want to ask that I can really just show you there and then as well. Okay, then let me just, if there's no question, let me really just very quickly show one more thing, but I have to set this up very quickly. So we do also have this, I would say, Chrome extension whereby the team or anyone is really able to use our Chrome extension that really helps you to scan all the different information that you're reading off based on the particular site or even really just what's the word? Like, let's say today you're reading this article, and then you really just want to find out more information on how many, I would say, indicators have we really observed and so on. And, and that really gives you a very quick overview that you can do as well. So let me just set this up. Okay, let me share my screen again. So, so assuming today, let me just really do a very quick, maybe let's say I see reports and and uh, I really just really wanted to show how we can use the extension over here, or rather maybe just let me go to the outhouse. So, assuming today, let's say you're reading this particular report or even this article or even this site, and you really wanted to see then how many indicators are really malicious in that sense. So what you can do is once you do this particular I would say browser extension, you click on this collect DNS data. You can see, let me just zoom it in a little bit more. Oh no. Okay. So over here, from here, you can really see based on this particular page, right, DNS data, how many things have we really observed or really see from here. We have like how many domains, URLs, IP addresses, what are the risk score there and then. And more interestingly, you can really just select all these different IP addresses. You can actually throw it into a feed. You can throw it into existing feed, a new feed that is within our platform that we are able to do certain enrichment for you to tell you really how much how malicious all these different indicators you have been seeing are bad as well. So on top of that, I can really just do a total view, a live scan or web scanner based on all these different indicators without the need to really just click on it, go to our platform and so on. So let's say I really just want to use this URL over here. You can see it really brings me over back to a web scanner. It brings me to a live scan. It also brings me to a total view. So when from here, I can really just saw that this particular one domain here, we have categorized them to be part of a DGA, how many DNS records, how many A records you have seen, and so on. So from here, you can really just do a live scan to see how does it really look like then, or rather just save it to any of the feeds that you want as well. So that is really just a very quick demo that we wanted to show on the browser extension. Um, with that, I would say that the workshop or the webinar really comes to an end as it's 10:30 right now. I would like to thank everyone here for taking your time out today to join us. We do have another upcoming workshop on taking place on the 16th September. But please let me just drop my email in the chat button over here. And and at any point in time, if there's really any questions that any of you have, please feel free to reach out to me or any of us in Silent Push, and we'll be more than happy to really just go through another demo, to really just have a quick chat, or really just answer any of the questions that you guys may have as well. So um, with that, thank you again. Thank you everyone for your time today, and I hope to speak to any of you soon. So take care and speak to you again. Bye bye.